Hey everybody, you're watching the PageantCast, and we're coming to you from Muskego, Wisconsin and Tampa, Florida, because tonight we talked to Jane Rullier. She's Miss United States 2011. Okay, come on. There we go. Tonight on the PageantCast.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
PageantCast episode 326.
And here we are live here in Muskego, Wisconsin. Want to wish all the people that are in the chat room a big welcome. Glad that all of you could come because we have a great interview lined up for you today. Before we get to Jane, do want to remind everybody we are actually premiering a new show. As you know, we have the live show here on Mondays, and on Fridays we have a show called PageantCast TV. Well, we're going to get a little more exciting with that because PageantCast TV once a month will be preempted by our new show called the PageantCast Gazette. That's where we're going to take that month's news and run it down for you, because we're not going to do that on the live shows anymore. We're going to get rid of the PageantCast news on the live shows so we can keep this more of an interview program, and also to keep all the shows to a little bit shorter length for you. I think you're really going to enjoy the new format. I just finished uploading them all this evening, so I'm very excited to bring it all to you here on the PageantCast. But hey, enough of me jaw-jacking. It's time now that we're going to be talking to our interview for the night. We're going to be talking to Jane Rullier in just a moment. Hang on. And here we are with our good friend Jane Rullier, Miss United States 2011. How are you, Jane?
Good. I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, we're so glad to have you on the show. Now, you're in a little bit warmer part of the country than I am, so I'm a little bit jealous of you right now. Tell us a little bit about how the winter's been there in Tampa, Florida.
It's been great. I mean, right now I think it's in, like upper 50s, and this weekend it was wonderful. It was sunny. Then we got rid of the rain. Then there was rain on Friday. So yeah, it's been really good. I'm enjoying the weather a lot.
Well, fantastic. We're so glad that you could take some time tonight to be with us here on the show. So I want to start out, one of the things that we like to ask, and we ask it fairly often, is we're asking people about their pageantcedents, which is a word I made up to mean your past pageants. So tell me a little bit about your pageantcedents.
Oh, the past pageants I have competed in?
Right, exactly.
Okay, well, first of all, I started when I was 19, and
Okay.
I just on and off, and then I really started with the Miss Tampa Petite pageant, which was for young women who are petite, and, you want to embrace that being short is not a limitation, and I got Miss Tampa, and then I competed in the Miss Florida pageant for that, and I got third runner-up. So it was really wonderful. And then after that, just because of my schedule just being so busy and finishing school, I wasn't able to do a live pageant. So I went ahead and entered into an online pageant, which was the Miss United States pageant. And, I entered as Miss Florida, and, next thing you know, I got chosen to be Miss United States 2011. So it was really wonderful, and such an accomplishment to actually get that title.
Well, fantastic. It sounds like that's a lot of fun. For folks that haven't done an online pageant, what would you say the difference is between that and I guess a live pageant?
Well, from what I know is the judging criteria is still the same. They're looking for a well-rounded person, which they're also looking for in the live pageant. Now, in the live pageant, of course, you don't have the on-stage presence, but in terms of the online pageant, you do have, your pictures, your interview questions, the things that you have accomplished, and I mean, even though it's just like an online class, you meet the professor one-on-one, and then you do the classes online. So it really is, it does have a big difference, but in terms of really picking out the individual, you can tell just by interviewing them and by the things that they've accomplished, how they really are. And then the judges in the Miss United States pageant that's online, they come from celebrity judges. So, there's certain things that they're looking for. So I think it's a great thing, to do for people who are like me, who are very busy and, don't have really all the time to, go full blown in pageantry. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how involved you are. You're very involved in your community, and I saw that you were quite involved at your church. What are you doing at church there?
Okay, well, I recently started getting a position as a co-peer minister. So I assist in faith formation at the Catholic Church off of Tampa. And what I really love about my job is the fact that I get to work with teens. I run a youth group, and every Sunday we meet and we just talk about, God and, just all those questions that teens have nowadays that it's just very important for them to have God in their lives. And, we do a lot of faith sharing, we do a lot of games, we do Bible study, and it's just a great way to get them, involved in their faith. So I really, really enjoy, doing that end, of my job, which I recently started in June. So.
Okay. Well, we're going to be coming back with more with Jane in just a moment. You're watching the PageantCast, and we have Jane Rullier. She's Miss United States 2011. More with Jane in just a moment. The PageantCast is on the road again. We just signed up. We're going to be back at United America 2012. Now, it's a different time of year, folks. It's June 22nd through the 24th. It was in October. Now it's in June. But it's the same great place. It's in Austin, Texas. And I heard about one of the very special things that we're going to be that's exclusive. The only place in the world you can see what we're going to be doing is in Austin, Texas. You're going to find out that's going to be released with a lot of other information. Check their website. We'd love to see all of you at United America this year. Come on out. The PageantCast will be there for United America 2012 in Austin, Texas in June. And we are back. We're back with Jane Rullier. She's Miss United States 2011. And Jane, so glad to have you back on the program. Your platform seems to be autism. You're quite involved in a number of autism groups. How did you get involved in autism awareness?
Well, I got involved because when I graduated from USF, I got my bachelor's in communication sciences and disorders. And after that, I went ahead and started working as a speech therapy assistant. And my first client was an autistic client, and it just started there. It just made me want to get more involved in autism awareness. I've been, part of Cardi USF, which, it works very well with High Heel Hike, the Julesburg Foundation, and it just gives me joy to be able to help and bring awareness to the community, to be able to, for people to understand what autism entails. It's just such a challenging, complex, thing. So I'm very, very excited to get involved and just bring awareness to our community. So it's very exciting.
Okay, so autism Is it a malady? Is it something that can be cured or treated? What exactly is autism?
Well, there's no cure right now for autism, but there's a lot of different. It's basically a spectrum. So if you have like a line, like a ruler, there's different characteristics. Like on one side you have on the end of the spectrum, which is the high level autism, you have, like, for example, Asperger's, and those are very, like, high level, individuals, but they lack the pragmatics, which is the, social skills, the eye contact and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just a range. Like, I wouldn't say that autism is just this one, clear cut thing. It's very complex, and that's why the great thing about autism is that now, whereas a couple years ago, there wasn't that awareness. So when you saw a child, for example, acting up, people would be like, what's going on with him? And now, because there's that awareness and there's different characteristics that, that autistic kids have, people are able to cope more with that. Like, there are, for example, certain kids who are very sensitive to light.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, for those type of kids, they still want this, they're still kids, and they should always
Right.
go, they want to go to movies and stuff like that, but they're sensitive to light. So now AMC has, provided them with a movie night just specifically for autistic kids to go and, still be able to enjoy the experience, but it's a very, like, quiet, very sensory, very low light for them to be okay with. So yeah, definitely, it's very wonderful and very complex, and it's just, I enjoy it a lot because every day I learn something new, I learn something different, and it's basically the techniques that we incorporate to bring them, to create that awareness.
Okay. Well, we'd all like to thank you for your efforts and helping out with autism here in the United States. It's something that needs the awareness, and I know for my own part, Asperger's I really wasn't aware of until I started watching Parenthood and started seeing it dramatically displayed there. I knew about autism, but I guess I didn't know about the Asperger's. What is it, sub-syndrome or whatever it is. It's really fascinating watching on the show, and I'm very much hoping that they can find better ways to treat it and maybe remove its symptoms, at least, for these young people. Now, are they mostly young people that you're working with, or are you working with all ages, or?
Well, I primarily work with school-age children in the clinic, and I see from basically middle school through high school. Like, my oldest right now is a 16-year-old who has Asperger's, and he has honestly he has come a long way from the first time that I've seen him. So it's just wonderful to really see them, get better with the speech therapy, with we incorporate a lot of social stories. That's also a great thing to do with them. So it's just wonderful, and I enjoy it.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I do have to ask you. We are a pageant show, after all. I have to ask you, are there any websites or any publications that you use to keep up with the ever-changing landscape of pageants?
Well, I really enjoy the Stephen Brody. He has his own website, and he has a lot of different tips, especially for girls who are just starting out in pageants. I think, he's, especially the interview questions, so I highly recommend that. So that's mainly, a pageant website that I read a lot, and then there's Tiara Magazine. There's just a whole lot of them, and then there's also websites that lets you see what pageants are coming up. Those are also really good.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, we've run out of time already, Jane. It moved very quickly. We want to thank you again for coming on the show tonight here with the PageantCast. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank thank you very much for having me on the show. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you, everybody. That's Jane Rullier. She was the former Miss United States 2011. Thanks again, Jane.
Thank you.
TJPN.
Well, that's it. That's it for tonight. We want to thank you all for tuning in. We remind you, Friday is PageantCast Gazette. You don't want to miss that very special show. And we will remind you every Monday night, we are live here at 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central, 7:15 Mountain, and 6:15 Pacific Time for the PageantCast. We're going to have another great interview next week, so stay tuned here to PageantCast.com. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann. Thanks so much, and until next time, Tierra Dream.